I don't think most Americans would survive in Albania long term. And I don't mean financially, I mean psychologically. Because Albania rewards a very different personality type from the modern United States. I grew up as a latchkey kid, and Albania feels like a latchkey country. Nobody explains everything, systems don't always protect you from your own mistakes. Sometimes things are chaotic, but there's also a strange freedom in that chaos. Ever heard the term latchkey kid? It's meant to describe that kind of freedom growing up to explore the world that a lot of modern kids don't really have anymore.
I'm going away for a week. See ya!
Living here over the last year, I've thought about this a lot. I've met a lot of incredible, inspiring people since I moved over here. People that have come and worked locally, or they've started businesses, or they've reinvented themselves entirely. But I've also met many people here with eyes bigger than their stomachs. They've bitten off more than they can chew, and they sink under the weight of their own ambitions.
You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
I've watched people move here expecting paradise, and then they completely fall apart when it doesn't work out to their expectations. When you see the same thing playing out over and over again, you start to notice certain characteristics that will determine whether a person's going to sink or swim long term here. At this point, when I meet someone, I have a pretty good idea of whether I think they're going to make it or not. What kind of kid were you? Were you a latchkey kid? Or did you adhere to strict systems and expect things to always go as planned? Do you thrive in unpredictability? Or do you get your feathers ruffled? Do you anticipate roadblocks and obstacles? Or are you often derailed by bumps in the road?
Freaking idiot!
A few years ago, I spent some time reading about Stoicism, a popular topic, and I came across a concept that I think about a lot here. The obstacle is the way. It basically means the only way out is through. You can't rush the process. If something seems like it's in your way, it's an opportunity to learn and overcome and find yourself more resilient. Take the US, for example. As it developed, more guardrails and safety nets were installed to guide people and prevent mistakes. Everything became increasingly systemized.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
There's usually a process or a website, a sign, a clearly marked path to help guide you along your way. That convenience is nice, but often the more things are supported, the weaker they become. With all that oversight comes a certain loss of freedom, a freedom to make mistakes especially. Take illegal parking. If you park illegally in the US and a cop sees you, what do you expect to happen? Most likely you're going to get a ticket on the windshield. But here in Albania, I've seen it time and time again. A cop passes a car that's parked illegally, and they just give them a warning honk, and the person who's responsible just usually sticks their head out of one of the local businesses and kind of sheepishly waves, and they immediately run and move their car. People are given a little more slack. If someone makes a mistake, they're corrected, everyone compensates a little bit, and then everyone goes on about their day. It feels very human. Growing up in the 80s and early 90s, we had a lot of freedom to make mistakes too. Sometimes really stupid mistakes, like playing in the field next door that had a lot of construction equipment. There were these big concrete tubes that were just big enough to fit a small person inside of. You could probably see where this is going. We got it in our heads it would be a fun idea to put someone inside one of these tubes and roll them down one of the nearby hills. In retrospect, it's amazing we survived childhood. There were definitely some close calls. But as they say, calm seas never made a strong sailor. When my wife and I first talked about leaving the US, one of the things we were most excited about was developing more of an ability to survive without all the guardrails that the US has in place everywhere. We wanted to feel more secure in unpredictability, more confident that we could overcome unforeseen problems. The transition's been difficult, and we've encountered a lot of problems that we couldn't have anticipated. Things often don't go to plan, but we've really cultivated this ability to think on our feet and shift gears when it's to our advantage. It's been hard-earned, but well worth it. I'm reminded of recently getting my residency here. That's right, I'm officially a card-carrying resident, thanks to Alvaro, everyone's favorite lawyer in Vlora. I'll link his information in the description below. When I first went to the port to get my ID card, I had no idea what was going on. No sign, no information, just 50 irritated people standing outside of an office.
Adam? This way, honey.
I only figured it out because another expat couple that I happened to bump into told me I needed to take a number. Shout out to Alessia and Francesco.
You don't have an appointment, do you?
Well, we didn't know how to make one.
A few visits later, I confidently walked in, picked up a number, sat down quietly. Nothing about the system changed. I changed. That's Albania.
Well, looks like I'm next.
That's a stark contrast from how I felt on my first trip. And that's just the kind of confidence that develops from the process. I felt unsure, I was taught by other people, I was given an opportunity and I still made mistakes, but then eventually I learned. That process can't be rushed. It takes as long as it takes, and I've had so many experiences like that here. It never feels good to make mistakes, but when they happen more frequently, you just start to learn that they're usually not that big of a deal. Everyone does their part to compensate a little bit, even if it's accompanied with a little bit of grumbling. And people will definitely grumble here. Part of the charm of the Balkans is people will speak their minds, even if it might seem a little bit rude. But with every attempt you make, things get a little better. If you're the kind of person that expects systems to function perfectly, you're gonna have a bad time here.
Gonna have a bad time.
But if you consider yourself pretty adaptable, you might consider your time here quite enjoyable. You might even just fit right in. One of my favorite authors, Kurt Vonnegut, has a quote that I think about often here. Laughter and tears are both responses to frustration and exhaustion. I myself prefer to laugh since there's less cleaning up to do afterward. It's a funny quote, but there's a lot of truth in it. Understanding what he's trying to say has a lot to do with succeeding in a place like Albania. Things are gonna go wrong, and you can either laugh or you can cry, and maybe both, but all you can do afterwards is carry on.
So where's the part where we have a good time?
If that sounds like a nightmare to you, don't come here. But if you thrive in the freedom and the challenges, you might be shocked at the opportunity that Albania has to offer. Take it with a grain of salt, because I'm just some random guy on the internet. But I think that Albania is going to explode in popularity over the next coming years. And the people that get in early are going to benefit the most from that growth. That's certainly been my experience. There's a lot of risk here, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think a lot of Americans say they want freedom, but what they really want is comfort with freedom aesthetics. Albania gives you real autonomy, but with that autonomy comes uncertainty, inconvenience, and responsibility. Some people find that stressful. Other people finally feel alive again. I find myself in that second category. Something that I've said multiple times since coming here is I feel like I found my free will again. If that's something that you're looking for, leaving the US might just be your way to find it. If you've enjoyed this and you'd like to support the channel, you can scan this QR code here, or you can find the link in the description to buy me a coffee. Helping people to acclimate to life in Albania and outside of the US is really rewarding. I love doing it, but the lights don't keep themselves on, so any support is greatly appreciated. For everyone that's donated recently, I can't thank you enough. I've been making YouTube videos now for about 6 months, and I'm finally starting to see some of that hard work pay off, and I'm really grateful. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. It's all because of people like you watching, subscribing, and directly donating to my channel. I couldn't be more grateful. I'm really appreciative. Thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm almost to 2,000 subs. Cannot believe it. And if you're interested in life in Albania for a US expat, I'm really glad you're here. Check out this next video. YouTube thinks you're gonna love it. And if you really like the content, check out the playlist. All right, see you soon, guys.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.